Hello everyone, welcome to our free mindfulness class number 7 live on YouTube and live on Instagram only for the first 10 minutes to tell you to join us live here on YouTube. The class is going to be here on YouTube, and today we have a very important class about how to manage stress and anxiety. So I'm going to teach you 3 easy strategies to better manage stress and anxiety. And at the end, we are going to do a mindfulness exercise so you can leave the class feeling more present and mindful already. And at the end today, I also have an announcement about a VIP opportunity to learn more in depth with me. So if you are on YouTube, let me know if the sound and the image are okay. If you are on Instagram, come join us on YouTube. The class is going to be on YouTube as usual. So for those of you who are on YouTube, let me know if the sound and the image are okay. If you are on Instagram, come join us on YouTube. So I'll give a few more moments. While you are joining us on YouTube, the class is going to be here, and remembering that every Thursday we have these free mindfulness classes live on YouTube. If you are on Instagram, you can just click the link in my bio to join us live. The class is going to be on YouTube. I just go live here on Instagram for the first 10 minutes, and then you have to join us live on YouTube. So this live class has no replay because this is actually premium content that I could easily charge for. So you have to be committed and join us live to practice together with us and feel our energy. So it seems that the image and the sound are okay on YouTube. So we'll start our class, and I'll start by introducing myself as usual. For those of you who don't know me yet, my name is Wanda Mendonça, and I was born in an island of the Azores, Portugal. So I grew up in a small island of the Azores, and then I moved to Lisbon to study journalism. After finishing my bachelor's degree in journalism, I went back to my home island of the Azores to work as a journalist in my chosen career as a journalist. But I also always had the dream of living abroad and traveling the world. This was my dream since I can remember. So when I went back to the Azores to work as a journalism, although that was my chosen career, I was not feeling happy. So I was feeling that something was missing. I was feeling stuck in a place and a job that didn't feed my soul. And I always tell this story. It may sound as a cliche, but it's true. I remember sitting in my work desk and looking out of the window and thinking, what am I doing here? I want to travel the world. There's so much world out there to explore. What am I doing here? And it was around this time that I found yoga and meditation, and I started my own journey of self-discovery. So it didn't happen overnight, but eventually I finally summoned the courage to quit my job as a journalist, to move to Lisbon again, to do a yoga teacher training and become a full-time yoga teacher. So I went from being a full-time journalist to being a full-time yoga teacher. And I've worked as a yoga teacher both in Portugal and in Switzerland, where I live now. Because in 2013, I decided to change my life again and move from Lisbon to Zurich in Switzerland, where I live now with my boyfriend, to finally follow the dream of living abroad and exploring the world. And it was after I moved here and started traveling more around Europe and the world that I started my project, my travel and yoga website, The Yogi Wanderer. So this website, The Yogi Wanderer, combines my passion for writing, for travel, and for yoga. And in this platform, in my website and on social media, my mission is to empower other women to live their best, most authentic lives through travel and mindfulness, like I did. So this is me. Let me know if you are live on YouTube with me. Let me know who you are, where you are watching from. If you are on Instagram, come join us on YouTube. As I said, you can just click the link in my bio to join us live here on YouTube. The class will go on here, and I'll turn off the live now here on Instagram. So come join us on YouTube. See you in a moment. Okay, and for those of you who are with me on YouTube, let's dive into today's class. And as I said, today we are going to talk about how to manage stress and anxiety. And I'm going to give you 3 easy strategies to start doing just that, to better manage stress and anxiety. And the first strategy is to become aware that stress and anxiety are something natural. So stress and anxiety are not necessarily a bad thing. They are natural responses of our body. So they are something natural and they are good for us. They are helpful for us. So, and contrary to what many people think, there's no life without stress and anxiety. There's no such thing as stress, as a stress-free living or a stress-free life. The only way you'll feel no stress and anxiety is if you are dead. So, as long as we live, we will always feel stress and anxiety from time to time. And this is because stress and anxiety are part of the fight or flight response, which is part of our survival mechanism. So stress and anxiety are part of our survival mechanism. They are our body's response to danger, and they help keep us safe. So what does this mean? When we feel under threat, when we feel that we are facing some danger or challenging situation, our body releases stress hormones, including the most known are cortisol, also known as the stress hormone, and adrenaline. So you probably heard about this already. So when we feel under threat, our body releases these stress hormones. And these stress hormones make our heart beat faster, our breath also becomes faster, our blood pressure goes up, our senses become sharper, and our body releases a boost of energy. So you have probably felt all of this already. So this reaction of our body allows us to be ready to either fight or run away, also known as the fight or flight response. So back when we were living in caves, this response, this fight or flight response, was essential to our survival. So when we were living in caves, if we were faced with a wild animal or an attack from another tribe, we needed to be able to react and quickly or we will die. So our body and our minds needed to be able to stay alert and react quickly or we will die. So this response happens very quickly and is called stress. This is what we call stress. Anxiety, on the other hand, is our body's response to that stress, and is usually a feeling of distress, unease, or dread. So stress usually is a quick response, and as it comes, it also goes. And anxiety, it lingers. Sometimes it lingers, and sometimes we don't know what it was caused by. So both stress and anxiety are part of this same body response. And sometimes it's hard to tell them apart. Although stress, as I said, tends to be short-term, and anxiety can linger, and it can sometimes feel that nothing is triggering it. But the important point here is that both stress and anxiety are natural and both are beneficial to us. So both help keep us safe and perform at our best when we most need it. So when we are faced with a dangerous or challenging situation, like when we have a deadline, an important school exam, a job interview, a big presentation to give at work, it's natural and it's good to feel stress and anxiety. So stress and anxiety ensure that we are alert, focused, and ready, and most importantly, that we perform at our best. So, and why am I telling you all of this? Why is it important to know this? Because knowing this allows you to use stress and anxiety to your advantage. And how do we do this? It's all about how you respond to stress and anxiety. So several studies have shown that how you react to stress also has an impact on how well you perform. So for example, in one study, students that saw stress, students that were told that stress was something natural and helpful, got better results on a test than students that were told that stress could impact their performance. So if they see stress as something natural and helpful, students get better results than students that see stress as something that can impact their performance, something that is bad for them. This happens because the problem with stress and anxiety is that their symptoms can sometimes overwhelm people. And this, in turn, will trigger more stress and anxiety, and then people end up not being able to cope. So stress, if you are overwhelmed by stress and anxiety, it will create more stress and anxiety, and it becomes a vicious cycle, and you are not able to cope. So the important thing here is to develop awareness of how your body and your mind responds to stressful situations. And when you develop this awareness, next time that you feel stress or anxiety, you are able to anticipate your body reactions and you remain calm. So this way you take away their power over you. For example, so I'm going to give you an example from my own life, 2 examples actually. For example, every time I go on a solo trip, and I've traveled alone a couple of times already, every time I go on a solo trip, I know that a day or 2 before I start feeling a bit anxious. So this always happens to me. I start having second thoughts and I start thinking things like, maybe I shouldn't go, why am I doing this anyway, why am I traveling alone? What if I don't like it? What if I feel lonely? What if I don't like being alone? So every time these thoughts arise in my mind. So the first time this happened, I almost canceled my trip. I thought, if I'm feeling this way, maybe I should cancel my trip. But I didn't. I went anyway, and I'm happy that I did, because the second and the third times that I traveled solo, these thoughts arised again. By this time, I already knew this was just anxiety. So I didn't give it the same importance. So I know this is my mind trying to play tricks on me, and I take the power of these thoughts away. Another example that I can give you is when I teach these live classes, as I'm doing right now. I always feel a bit nervous beforehand, and this is totally normal. So my heartbeat, my breath get a little faster around 5 minutes before I start. But I know that this is a normal reaction of my body, so this allows me to stay calm in the face of stress, which is actually very liberating. So when you feel stressed, but at the same time, you know that this is a normal reaction of your body, and you can remain calm even if you are feeling a nervous reaction. So it's actually very liberating. So you start looking at stress and anxiety as something normal. So this first strategy is look at stress and anxiety as something normal, develop awareness of how your body and your mind react. Just as I developed awareness of how my mind reacts when I travel solo, how my body and my mind react when I go live to teach a class, you should also develop awareness of your own stress reactions, your own stress response. Develop awareness of how it feels in your body, how it feels in your body and in your mind, what thoughts arise in your mind, and this way you get comfortable with these reactions, with these sensations and thoughts, and you take away their power over you. And start seeing it as something positive that can give you extra energy and focus. So this way, as I said, stress and anxiety will have much less power over you. And then we go to the second strategy to cope, to manage stress or anxiety. And the second strategy is acceptance or non-judgment. So the second strategy to better manage stress and anxiety is accepting what is without judgment. So this is one of the core skills of mindfulness, accepting what is and letting go of resistance. Because every time we resist something, we add an extra layer of suffering or stress to the situation. So resistance, even if we don't know it, resistance is the cause of most of our negative emotions and stress. Acceptance, which is the opposite of resistance, acceptance, on the other hand, allows us to let go and accept the reality of what is. So this includes accepting our own thoughts and emotions without judgment, and also accepting the circumstances of our life without judgment. So this is very challenging for all of us, but it's something that we can practice and that it will get easier with practice. But it's important to note that acceptance doesn't mean resignation, or that we don't try to change ourselves or our lives for the better. We can still try to change ourselves and our lives, but acceptance means recognizing that things are what they are in this moment right now, and coming to terms with them, with the circumstances of our life right now. Because acceptance is the starting point to deal with any negative experience. By accepting what is, we are able to see the real problem and find a real solution. Because when we resist, we get caught up in our emotions, in our own interpretations of the situation, in our own negative emotions, and it becomes very difficult to find a solution. There's also a story that I always tell when I talk about acceptance and resistance that I think illustrates very well what acceptance and resistance are. So when I was working as a journalist, as I said in my introduction, I was not happy. In my first job as a journalist, I was not happy. And this was because I realized that job was not for me. There were several things I didn't like. So the salary was very low. The work was very demanding. My bosses were a bit toxic even. So the atmosphere was very toxic. There was even bullying involved, not with me, but some of my colleagues. So it was really a very toxic atmosphere, and I felt that the work and the salary were unfair. So what I did at this time of my life was resist the situation of what was my life at that time. So I got caught up in my negative thoughts and emotions about that job. So every day I went out, I would go home and say, this is so unfair, I cannot believe they said that, I cannot believe they asked me to do this, I cannot believe the salary is so low, I cannot believe that I have to work on the weekends. So I was always angry and resisting the situation. Because sometimes I think when we resist something, it's like we are trying to tell the universe, this is not fair, so I cannot accept it, you have to change this somehow. So we think because things are not fair, they will maybe magically change if we resist them. But this is not what happens, of course. So because I was so caught up in these negative emotions and thoughts, it took me a lot of time to find a solution for my life. I could not see that I had a choice to stay there until I found another job. Acceptance in this situation would mean that I would say, for example, okay, I don't like this job, but I will stay here until I find another job. And while I stay here, at least I'm going to learn as much as I can. Because if I need to be in the situation anyway, why add an extra layer of stress and suffering? And if I had done that, maybe I could see a solution for my problem faster. Maybe I could have left sooner. So if I had accepted the situation and made peace with it, I would have probably found a solution much sooner. So that's why it's so important to accept what is, because it becomes much easier to see the real problem for what it is and find a solution, instead of creating an extra layer of suffering and stress, unnecessary stress in this situation. And this leads us to the third strategy to better manage stress and anxiety, which is cultivate mindfulness. So we saw how stress and anxiety are natural and even good for us. But as we know, even too much of a good thing can be bad for us. So too much stress can also be bad for our body and for our health. If we are constantly under stress and anxiety, both our physical and mental health will suffer, because we are under a lot of pressure. We are putting a lot of pressure in our body and our mind. Another thing that happens is that sometimes what we perceive as threats are not real threats, are not real dangers, but only imaginary threats. But of course, our brain doesn't know the difference between a real or an imaginary threat. So even imaginary threats will create real stress and anxiety. So even if you are not in real danger, if you think you are, or if you are worried about a situation, a challenging situation, for your body is the same thing. Another thing is that it's important to give your body and your mind time to recuperate after stress. So just like when you go to the gym and you work out, you put your muscles under stress so that they become stronger. But after you go to the gym, after you work out, you need to give your muscles some rest and a healthy diet. So it's the same thing with stress. Stress helps you perform at your best when you most need it, but after you feel stress, you need to give your body and your mind some rest and a healthy diet. And one of the most effective ways to do this is through mindfulness, through a mindfulness practice. Whether that's yoga, meditation, breathing exercises, relaxation exercises, all of these are a very effective way to reduce stress and better manage it. So meditation and mindfulness are scientifically proven to help reduce and manage and also build resilience to stress and anxiety. And here I would like to add a final note. If you are dealing with chronic stress or anxiety, you may also want to see a doctor. Because these three strategies that I talked about right now, so seeing stress, looking at stress as something natural and helpful, accepting what is and letting go of resistance, and cultivating mindfulness. These three strategies can help you manage and reduce stress and anxiety. But if you feel that you are not able to cope anymore due to chronic stress or anxiety, you should also see a doctor or a therapist to understand what may be causing that, what's the underlying cause of that. And with this note, we go on to our exercise for today's class. So we'll do an acceptance exercise. So wherever you are, preferably, ideally, you should be on a comfortable place, on a quiet place where you are not going to be disturbed for this exercise. So close your eyes now and start relaxing your body and your mind. So do a couple of deep inhalations and relax your body and your mind with each exhalation. Do this a couple of times, relaxing your body and your mind even more. And now start thinking of a situation. Choose one situation that you are resisting in your life, or a situation that is causing you stress. Think of this situation and label this experience without judgment. Just label the experience without adding your own interpretation or judgment of the situation. And when you're ready, add an acceptance statement. So this could be something like, I accept the situation fully, or for example, I accept the reality of this situation. So add an acceptance statement to this situation. And now start bringing your awareness to the physical sensation of resistance and releasing each time you breathe out. So bring your awareness to how it feels in your body to resist this situation, and let go and release with each exhalation. Do this for a couple of times. And then rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 on your current level of acceptance of this situation. On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your current level of acceptance of this situation? And once you have your number, ask yourself, how would it feel to fully accept this situation? So try to feel it in your body. How would it feel to fully accept it? See this situation now from this perspective of acceptance. And when you are ready, you can open your eyes, finishing this exercise and trying to keep this awareness now into your life and into the real situation. So you can practice this exercise anytime you are feeling stress or resistance towards some thought or some difficult situation in your life, or even towards a person, a difficult situation or a thought. So this ends our class for today. But before we finish, as I said before, today I have an announcement for you. So I want to make an announcement that I'm opening a VIP waiting list for those of you that are interested in learning in more depth with me about how to reduce stress and anxiety and live a more mindful and authentic life. So this will be a course/mentoring program combining the best of yoga, meditation and mindfulness to give you all the tools you need, as well as access to my guidance and support. So if you'd like to join the VIP waiting list and be one of the first persons to know about the course/mentoring program and get priority access, because the spots are going to be limited, so if you are in this group, you will get priority access as well as special prizes and bonus. So click the link in the comments to join the waiting list. I'm going to share the link with you now. So click the link in the comments now to join the waiting list, the VIP waiting list. So this is a WhatsApp group that I created for this VIP waiting list. But this WhatsApp group is a mute group, so you don't need to worry about notifications. You will only get informed about the course. It should open in the end of May or beginning of June, but you will be notified before the other people, so you'll get priority access, as I said, as well as special prizes and special bonus. So if you are interested in learning in more depth with me, in having my permanent guidance and support, just click the link and join the VIP waiting list. And let me know now if you have any questions about today's class that you'd like me to answer, or any questions about the course or this mentoring program. So let me know if you have any questions about today's class, about managing stress and anxiety. Remembering that every Thursday we have these free mindfulness classes live on YouTube. So we talk all things yoga, meditation, and mindfulness. So free mindfulness classes, usually around 30 minutes, so short but sweet. Always with a practical exercise at the end, so you can leave the class already feeling more mindful and present. You can also ask questions, and I'll answer to all of them. So if you liked this class, please give it a thumbs up so that YouTube knows that it was useful and can deliver it to more people. You can also subscribe my channel to get all the updates. You can click the link in my bio on Instagram also to get all the updates about these classes. And if you'd like the class, if you found it useful, you can share it with a friend who needs to see this, who needs to watch this, and reduce and learn to reduce and better manage stress and anxiety. So that's it for today. Click the link in the comments to join the VIP list if you'd like to learn in more depth with me and get priority access and special prices. So click the link in my bio, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye. Thank you for watching.